So as I told you, today's topic is advanced flex properties, and as well as we will see another topic known as media queries. Okay, so first let's see what are the things that were left in the display flex property. So let me create a folder here. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So the flex class will contain display flex property, and yeah, so let me create a similar layout what we used for the horizontal nav bar. Okay, so I'll not create the whole nav bar now. I just want to show you some divs which will be flexible. That means display flex will be applied on them. So let's say div, it can, I will just put a class name the item. Okay. And yeah, I'll copy this. I want 4, 5. Yeah. So in this item class, what I'll apply is I can apply some height is 100 px, for example. Width is 200 px, and some background color. Background color is, for example, red. Okay. Now, yeah. So if we only apply the display flex property, what will happen? It will just stick to each other like this. We are not able to see the divisions. So what I can do is I need to apply some more property along with display flex, like justify content. So that day we saw justify content. Yeah, I have already shown. So justify content. So let me put not flex start, not flex end, but space around. Okay. So how does it look like? It looks like this. So we had already seen what are the values justify content can be provided. We saw it can be provided with flex start. So in flex start, okay, let me do one thing. Let me put a border here. The border is 5 px solid white. Okay. Okay. So now if I apply flex start to justify content, what happens is we get something like this. Everything is aligned to the left side. That means that is the starting of the flex container. Okay. If I write flex end, it goes to the end, that is to the right. Okay. Now if I apply justify content center, it will stay at the center, and then we have something called the space between. So here they put the space between all the elements. It is not applying around the elements, but between the elements. Okay. So if we want space around all the elements, that means here we don't have gaps, isn't it? Starting and end, we don't have gaps. So if you want to add gaps there, and write space around, here we get the gaps all over. But even here, the spaces are like, here if the space is 20 px, here it is 40 px. That is, whatever space we have here, the double of it is present here. Okay. So again, if you want equal spaces all in all sides, left, right, starting, ending, everywhere, then you have to put here space evenly. Okay. So here you can see the spaces are even in all the sides, whether it is starting, in between, or at the end. Everywhere the space is equal. Okay. If I remove the border now, you can see we don't need the border now actually. Okay. So here we can see that the spaces are equal. Okay, fine. Now, this justify content is a very useful property, because using this we can align the items. Okay. So, and this looks, so let me put, instead of space evenly, let me put justify content space between. Okay, because this is what our nav bar will look like. Okay, in our nav bar, the items that we had, like home, product, about us, will always look like this. Okay, mostly it will look like this. Now we have some nav bars where what happens, 4 items are at the starting and 1 item is at the left, at the right, or at the end, or maybe 3 items are at the starting and 2 items are at the end. How do we achieve that? Okay, so let me put the border again. So maybe 3px solid white, and let me remove this space between. Okay, now what happens, by default it will take the justify content flex start property. The justify content will take the flex start value. Okay, so that is the default value. So everything is aligned to the left. Now, so suppose this is the nav bar. I want this, and this to be present here. The first 4 boxes to be present on the left side, but I want the 5th box to be present at the right side. So what do we do for that? For that, what I can do is, we have something called margin auto. Okay, margin auto is there. So whichever item I want to apply that, I can have it here. So for example, I want the first 4 items to be present at the left, and the 5th item, if I want it at the right, then I can apply some class here. So maybe last. Okay, just I'm giving some name. So to this last, what I have to do is, I have to apply margin left auto. Okay, so what happens when I do this? The 5th member of the flex container has moved to the right. So this way you can have those nav bar, those kind of nav bars where we have home, product, about us, contact us, but maybe the login button is at the right. So in that situation, you can use this kind of thing. And this margin left auto is applied to this last, isn't it? So if I put this last, if I remove it and put it on the 4th item, what will happen? The 4th and 5th both will move to the right. Okay, just see this way. Okay, if I put it at the 2nd item, what will happen? The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th item will move to the right. Okay, like this. So this is about margin auto. So this is margin left auto. You can have margin right auto and so on. Okay. Okay, fine. Now I want to show you something here. We don't need to here we can see that all the individual items are having a fixed height. That means 100 px height is applied. It is same for every item, but sometimes we may have divisions or items whose height is not the same. For example, we have some text, core text, and the fifth member is not some text. It may be an image. If we have an image and the text boxes are having some let's say 30 px height and the image is having some 20 px height, then what will happen? They will not be aligned properly. So let me show you an example. So what was the last item? So let me put the last class again. And in the last item, what I'll do is I'll change the height. Okay. So let's say the height was 100 px. I'll make it 60 px. Okay. So what happens? You can see, oh, I can remove the margin left auto. This is not needed for now. Yeah. So you can see it is the height is applied, but the item is moved to the top. That means it is not aligned with the other items. It is not at the center. So what do we do for such kind of things? So let me do one thing. Let me change one more div. So this is third, right? So to the third one, what I want to do is I want to apply some different height. So let's say height is 150 px, which is more than the other heights. Okay. So here also we can see that it is not aligned. So how do we align such items? So there is another, just like justify content, we have another property called align items. Okay. So what we do here is in the parent where we applied flex, there itself, along with display flex, I can apply align items center. Okay. So if I apply this, what will happen? They are all aligned to the center. Okay. Whatever be the height, it doesn't care whether it is more, less, or whatever be the height, it doesn't care. What it does is it just tries to align everything to the center. Okay. So this thing is very important when we are having flex containers inside which we have different items of different heights. For example, we have images, we have text, we have maybe some logo or anything. We may have some drop down, anything. Okay. So in that case, we need justify, we need align items. Okay. So align items, what it does is when I don't write anything, it takes by default flex start, justify content flex start. It takes this value. That's why everything moves at the top. If I write here flex end, it will move to the bottom. Okay. If I put center, it stays at the center. Okay, like that. Okay, so this is about align items. Okay, fine. Now let me remove these heights and align items center is there. Okay, fine, no problem. So the one of the important reasons to use Flexbox is what happens. So let me make the heights different, widths different. So this is the 5 boxes are there, right? So we can have width as maybe 20%. Okay. So now the screen, the whole display width is divided into 5 parts equally. Each is having a 20% width. Okay. Fine. Now, what is the meaning of flex? Flex means flexible container. So that means if I resize the window, you can see the containers are automatically adjusting with the display width. Okay, the browser viewport width. If it is more, the width is looking more. It is looking like it is maybe around more than 200 300 px. When I make the display small, the width of the boxes are like maybe around 100 150 px. So it is automatically adjusting. Okay, that is because flex containers are flexible. That is the reason why we need display flex. Okay, so if I go on, so this is the maximum I can go. So at this point, even at this point, it is able to adjust it. Okay, okay. So this approach of designing websites or web pages is known as adaptive design, adaptive web design. Okay, but nowadays what is happening is we have different kinds of devices. We have mobile devices, we have tablets, we have laptops, we have 13-inch laptops, we have 15-inch laptops, we have monitors like desktops. In desktops, we have again 18.5-inch, 21.5-inch, 24.5-inch, like that. Lot of different display widths, display sizes or screen sizes are present. Okay, so in those cases, the way of displaying our web pages becomes is different. Okay, so what we do is we have different screens. That means not screens, actually different layouts. We have different layouts for different devices. Okay, now what design we made here? What are the properties we use? We use display flex, we use align item center. Okay, let me show you one more property. Okay, one property is left, that is, let me okay, with this 20%, but let me put the different third and last word there. Okay, so third, I'll apply width as not width, height as something like 150 px or maybe okay, height is 150 px and maybe the last is having some height of 60 px. Okay, I don't need this third. I'll rename this last, maybe small. Okay, I'll name it as small and I'll put it in the third box. Okay, so what will happen now? This third box will have a height of 60 px. Okay, so now if I don't apply align item center, if I apply align item center, what happens? It automatically adjusts it, isn't it? It places it in the center. Now here, where am I applying the align item center property? I'm applying it to flex. That means to the parent. Okay, but suppose I don't have this, for example. Okay, then what do I do? Then if I want to align this, I have something called self align. So align self center. Okay, so if I apply align self center to the small element, that means this third element, it will give me something like this. It will give me a similar behavior just like align item center. But the only difference is align item center is applied to the parent. That means align item center gets applied to all the elements, all the divisions. But align self is applied to, it is not applied to the parent. It is applied only to the element which we want. Okay, where we want. Suppose the items are having different heights, but I don't want to align all of them. Okay, so second and last, for example, second is having some height as, let me take it less than 100 px, so maybe 70 px, and maybe the last one is having height as 30 px. Okay, so what will happen here? They are not aligned, but if I apply align item center, everything will be aligned to the center. But suppose I don't want to align all of them, I only want to align only a particular element. Then what do? I use align self. Okay, so if I want to align the second element, I will just remove this from here and I will apply it to second. So what will happen? It will only align the second element to the center, and the other elements will not be aligned. You can see all the elements are starting from the top, but this is starting from the top, 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 but the second element got aligned to the center. Okay, this way you can apply the align self to whichever element you want to align. Okay, but if you want to align, so now you can see all are starting from the top, but the last element is aligned to the center. Okay, but if you want to align all the items to the center, then you have to use align items. Okay, so that is the difference between align items and align self. Okay, fine. Okay, now what I was saying is we have different devices nowadays. Okay, every device has their own width. For example, this screen which I am viewing, it may be having a width of more than 1000 pixels. Okay, so there is a site where you can check your device's width. Okay, that means in pixels how much is it. So okay, now itself you can check in your mobiles, in your laptops, everywhere. Even in your mobile you can check what is the device width in pixels. So my device.io. okay, the site name is mydevice.io. When I press enter, this will show me that my viewport width is, you can see my viewport width is 1536px. You can do the same for your mobiles. Okay, mobile phones, there also you will get what is your device viewport width. Okay, so now this is a laptop with bigger screen, so I am having 1536 pixels, but maybe smaller laptops will have around 766 pixels or 1366 pixels, like that. Mobile devices will be having like 320 pixel, 360 pixels, 414 pixels. Okay, iPhones normally have 414 pixels. Okay, like that. So what website or web page designers do is they have different views for different devices. So let me show you one such example. So you can see we can resize the window. Okay, let me not to go much into this. First, let me show you some website where the layout is different for different devices. Okay, so for example, let me go to, maybe I can go to Flipkart. Yeah, so the Flipkart, this is the layout for a widescreen devices like laptops, desktops, etc. Okay, so now if I reduce the size, okay, they are not having that layout here, so we have to go for some other site. Okay, let me go to Bootstrap and show you something there. So in Bootstrap, we have a component like navbar. Is it navbar? Let's see. Yeah, you can see when the display is more, you can see the menu bar or the navigation bar at the top, docs, examples, icons, themes, blog. Okay, but as I decrease the size, keep on decreasing, the menu has changed to this, isn't it? So they have changed the layout for smaller devices. Okay, for large screen devices, they have created this layout. When the screen size is small, they have changed the layout like this. Okay, so this kind of things are also important nowadays because of the increasing number of devices. Okay, so this approach is known as, so the approach what we saw in the Flexbox is known as adaptive web design, but this approach is known as responsive web design. Okay, in this approach what happens, we have different layouts for different device widths. Okay, if the device width is different, we can specify different layouts. How do we achieve this kind of things? Okay, so to achieve these kind of things, we need something called media queries. Okay, Bootstrap uses both adaptive as well as responsive web design approaches. Okay, so there whatever components we have in Bootstrap, they are all adaptive as well as responsive. So what happens when we have a suppose we have something like buttons, not buttons, like cards. These cards will be a flex container actually. So that means if I increase the if I decrease the width, the cards also card width also gets decreased. Okay, and if we need some different layouts for different device widths, that also we can specify in the card designs. Okay, these containers, we have a class called container in Bootstrap. We will go through Bootstrap in another workshop, maybe in the next workshop. Don't worry much, just I want to show you what they are doing. Okay, so there is something called a container class. That container is nothing but a div. That div is responsive as well as adaptive. We can everything is adaptive. That means in Bootstrap everything is a flex container. Okay, so you don't need to worry about the flexibility. Okay, it will always resize on its own when we resize the browser window. But there is an option of responsive web design in all Bootstrap components. Okay, we can if we want to add these kind of responsive design for different devices, that can be achieved in Bootstrap for all components. Okay, okay, fine. So let's now start designing some page using the media queries. And what is that media query? Okay, fine. Now let me create a new file. Okay, so maybe I'll put this in a folder, with files whatever we did. This means advanced flex maybe. Okay, and I'll put these two files here. Yeah, so now I'll create a new folder. So here we will discuss, here we will discuss about media queries. Okay. Again, okay, I'll make it inside it. 28 advanced plus. Yeah. Okay. In the media queries, let me create two files, index.html and more file styles.css. Okay. So what I'll have here is HTML head link styles.css and a body tag. Okay. So we write media queries in the styles file. Okay. That means in CSS. Media queries is a CSS property. It is a CSS property. So here we write the syntax of media queries is something like this. We write something like this, and we have a lot of things here. Within bracket something we will write, and we'll write the styles here. Okay. Now let's understand how do we write this. I mean, how how do we get the thought process of this different device widths. So what we do is, let me open this file. Yeah. So what was happening in Bootstrap? So let me go back, go to Paint maybe. Here I'll show you. So I have designed a web page, and that web page I want to display in different layouts for different devices. Okay. So what I do is, suppose this is the let me create one. So for example, this will be the layout for the big screen devices. That means like laptops and desktops. Okay. So here I can have something like maybe some cards. Okay. Maybe some cards are there, and how do I want to show those cards? Okay. So for example, I have some cards, and these cards I have to show it like this. This is one card. This is one card, because it is what it is called. It is having so much width, so I don't care, right? I can show it directly on my screen from end to end. So there is no problem in it. I can show it. So for the big screen devices, I want to show it like this. But for maybe for the mobile device, so for let me take a mobile device. So mobile screens will be something like this, isn't it? It will be vertical. It's not horizontal like laptops and desktops. So the same layout. So let me say this is card 1, this is card 2, and this is card 3. Okay, fine. The same things I want to show here, but I want the layout to be different. So for example, I want for mobile devices, I don't want to show it like this, or maybe I want to show it something like this. I want the cards to be small, something like this. And I just want to show the cards at the top, and I want to show other things, other details or text or content below. Okay, I want to write other content below. So what is happening? The content remains the same. The same cards will be present here. Card 1, card 2, and card 3. But the difference is in the layout. Here the cards were placed like this, but in mobile devices, I want to show it like this. So how do I achieve these kind of things? These kind of things can be achieved using media queries, as we have already discussed that. But what happens is I have shown you about the device width, right? So for example, this laptop or desktop device that I have on the left side is having a width of, for example, 1366px, for example. Okay, and this mobile device is having a width of, for let's say 720 or maybe 320px. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to specify this width in the media query property. When we write the media query property, we have to say that I want this layout for 320px devices, and I want this layout for 1366px devices. Okay, so today we'll see just basic about media queries. We'll see only one parameter, that is the max width. Maybe in future workshop we'll see some more advanced features about media queries. Okay, so today I'll show you how to implement this using a parameter called max width. Okay, so what will happen here is, for this 1366px, I don't need to write any media query because this is the default. Whatever I write till now, whatever I had written in the styles, it was applied for the desktop devices, isn't it? That means for the widescreen devices like laptops, desktops, etc., etc. So I don't need to, I was not writing media queries for to display it in a laptop, isn't it? So in the same way, what I do here is I don't need to write any media queries for this 1366px device. But for this mobile device, I need to write the media query. So how do I write it? I will be writing something like this: @media, and then here within bracket, I need to write max width colon. It is 320px here, so I'll write here 320px. Okay, let me reduce the font size. Okay, I think you are able to see it. So add rate. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So @media max width 320px, and then inside this we have to write the styles. Okay. So here some styles we will write, like we are changing the layout, so we'll write the, here the cards were placed one after the other in the desktop screen, but on the mobile it was placed side by side. So for side by side, we already know what we need to use. We need to use display flex. So I can apply the display flex in here, and then at the end it will close. So inside this brackets, inside this flower braces, we will write the styles what we need for the mobile device. Okay, so this is how we write it. But what is the meaning of this part? @media max width 320px. So what will happen here is, the meaning of this max width 320px is width from 0 to 320. That means all devices which are having a maximum width of 320px will have these styles. Okay, that means when I write max width, it directly takes 0 to 320. Okay, if I write here 720, that means max width 720, that means maximum width of 720. So when it is having more than 720, automatically it will take the styles that is present for 1366px, that is the normal styles whatever we have. So when I write here 320, when I write here, oh sorry, so instead of 720, if I write 320, or okay, for example 720 itself. So what will happen here, when I have when I have the device, have a device with more than 720px, it will automatically take the default styles. And these media query styles whatever we write here, this will only be applied only when this max width is, the width of the device is 720 or less than 720. Otherwise it will not get applied. Otherwise only the default styles will be applied. Okay, so let's see it practically what happens. Let us try to create a layout like this. So first let me have the cards. Okay, but one more thing I want to say here is, for using media queries, if I directly write all these media queries, it will not work. Okay, so for that we need another element here. It is known as the meta tag. Okay, in this meta tag we need to write some, we need to add some attributes like name is equal to viewport. Okay, name is equal to viewport, content is equal to width equal to device width, and one more attribute we need is initial scale. Sorry, this will come inside the same content attribute. Initial scale is equal to 1. Okay, we need the meta name equal to viewport, content equal to width equal to device width, and we put a comma here, and initial scale equal to 1. Okay, this line is mandatory for adding media queries. If you don't add this line, the media queries will not work. Okay, okay, now let's start writing. So what I have is, I'll just have a div. Inside the div I'll create 3 cards. Okay, so div, I'll just name it as card. Okay, div class equal to card, and then inside the card I'll have some content, maybe a heading like h3. So in the h3 I'll write card 1 maybe, and after the h3 I'll say have some content after the heading. So let me have a paragraph tag, and let me have some random text. Okay, I'll just have some random text like this. Okay, fine, that is enough. Now the same thing I need to repeat it for 2 more cards. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3. Now this is the layout for big screen devices. So I'll not apply the display flex to this parent. Okay, because we want the card to be placed one after the other directly on the viewport, isn't it? So I'll just put it like this. And to see the card clearly, let me add some styles to the card. So for example, dot card, in dot card may let me add a border. Border is 1px solid, maybe red. Then let me put some padding. Padding is, let's say, 10px. And let me have a border radius as well, a rounded borders. That day we have seen that, right? So border radius, let me have it as 20px maybe. Yeah, fine. So dot card border, padding, and border radius. Okay. Now I save this and let's see the layout. It is looking like this. Okay. Let me have a margin as well in the cards. Margin bottom is maybe 10 px. Okay. Fine. So now we can see that the cards are looking like this. Whatever we planned in this thing, the same thing I'm getting it here. That is okay. But I want different layout. So let me show you for mobile devices what is happening. So let me resize it. You can see that it is adaptive, but it is not responsive. It is not changing the layout for other devices. Okay. So we have to add the media queries now. Okay. So this points 720px. We have chosen 720px. We have chosen 320px. We have chosen 1366px. These points are known as breakpoints. Okay. These are known as device width breakpoints. Okay. So for different breakpoints, we write different media queries. Okay. So for 720px, we want different layout. So for that breakpoint, we have a different set of media queries. Again, for 320px breakpoint, we need different layout. So we add different styles for that particular breakpoint. Okay, fine. Now let me start with 720px. Let me write some styles for 720px, and then we will go for 320px. We'll write some more styles. Okay. So let me show you here. When the display is at maximum, what is the width I'm having here? 1187. I mean, I can increase this, no problem. I can increase it. It will go on increasing. But let's just see how much I'm getting. So for example, 1155. Okay, fine. This is the width and this is the height. Okay. So how do I get to this screen? First thing is in Chrome or Mozilla, we will always have this icon here. That is a mobile devices icon, mobile and tablets and whatever you want. Okay. Toggle device toolbar. That is known as device toolbar. So when you click on it, you will get this display, this layout, and you can resize the screen to see the layout. Okay, fine. Now, when I decrease it, so what is the breakpoint I am deciding to take? I have decided to take 720px. So let's say when it is at this point 720. Okay, at this point I want a different layout. Okay, so for that I need to write the media query. Okay, so now let me write the media queries. So what kind of media query I want? What kind of layout I want? I want this kind of layout. That means it is the cards are placed side by side. That means I need to again use display flex. So what we did earlier was we used display flex. So these are the cards present. So what I did earlier was I directly applied the display flex here, and the cards were placed side by side. But here I can't do that, because if I do that here, what will happen? The main full width layout will get changed. Here also the flex will be applied and the cards will be placed side by side, but I don't want that. I want that only for 720px, not for 1366px or 1532px or something like that. Not for device, not for width more than 720px. I want it only for devices of 720 and less. Okay, fine. So I can't do it here, so I write it in a separate media query. So let me write that. So what was the syntax for media query? @media, and then we pass some parameter here like max width. Okay. Max width colon. What is the width I want? That is 720px. So this is the breakpoint. 720px is the breakpoint we are using. So here I have to write the different styles. Now, so to place it side by side, I need to apply to the parent, isn't it? The display flex to the parent. But there is no class added, so I'll add a class here. Maybe I'll add a class called adjust. because this will adjust, isn't it? So I'll add a class adjust, and in this adjust, and what is the class I'm having for other things? Okay, card is already there. Fine. So now I can write the adjust class. So in the adjust class, what I need to write? I need to write display flex. Okay, and I can even add one more thing like justify content, just to display it in a better way. I'm using, you may not use it, but I am just putting it. So justify content maybe space evenly, so that space is even from all sides. Okay, fine. And yeah, I think that is enough. Yeah, now let's see what has happened to the device. Now I'll reload the page. Now I'll just resize and see what is happening at 720px. See, at 720px, so device is full. I'll just put it as 720. Okay, actually, yeah. So at 720, we can see, I'll just increase the size. Yeah. So the moment the 720, here we have a increase decrease buttons. So the moment I increase the 720 to 721, you can see the card layout again has changed to the default layout. That means for widescreen layout. But as I decrease it to 720, the layout becomes this. Okay. So see this. For a full screen width, it is having this layout. I keep on decreasing. That means if the device width maybe 720 is for tablets. Some tablets will be having 720px width. Okay, pixel width. So here, when the device width is something like 720 or less than 720, it is having this layout. You can even have a margin for the cards. Okay, so in this 720 same media query, I can have dot card will have a margin of maybe 10px. Okay, so that they will have a gap. Yeah, maybe I'll put it as 5px. Yeah, so you can see the layout is changing for different devices. Okay, now, so I hope you have understood. Is there any doubt, anyone? Hello.
No.
Okay, okay, fine. So this way, what we do is whenever people design web pages or websites, they have a lot of breakpoints, not only one breakpoint. Here we have used only one breakpoint, that is 750px. But if you see here, I'll show you. My change is responsive to Galaxy Note 3. So you can see how many devices are here, but these are just some common devices. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, everyone is having. So this Galaxy Note 3 is having 360 into 640. So if I go to iPhone SE, it is having 375 into 667. If I go for iPhone 12 Pro, it is having 390 into 844. So all devices are having different device widths. So we need to write media queries for all the devices. Okay. So normally what happens is, whenever they create this kind of websites or web pages, they have more than 10, 20, 20, around 20 to 25 breakpoints. Okay, for different devices. If you see here, let me go for a tablet. So maybe iPad Air. So iPad Air is having 820 into 1180. Again, iPad Mini is having 768 into 1024. So like that, all devices are having this kind of different widths. So if you design it for only one width, what will happen? It will break in some other device. The layout will not look nice in other devices. It will sometimes the content will go up, sometimes content will go down. So that won't look nice. So because of that, we need media queries, and the people add as many media queries as they can for displaying it in different devices. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's get back to our layout. So what I'll do is, now let me write some more media query for another breakpoint. Okay, so this breakpoint was 720. So let me write another media query for maybe 320. Yeah, that's what we decided here, right? We thought of 320. So now for 320, for example, I want again this kind of layout. What do I do for that? Again, something like this. I want at 320, I don't want to display it like this. I want to display it one after the other. So what do I do for that? So again, I will write a media query. Media. So max width is, for example, 320 px, and the styles will be. So again, this in adjust we applied the display flex, right? But if you see here, when I write max width 720 px, the meaning of this is with devices of width 720 or less. That means if it is 320, then also this will get applied, isn't it? If I don't write this for 320 also, this will get applied. So for 320 also display flex will be applied. So I need to change this display flex for the adjust class. So I'll just change the styles for the adjust class. I'll write instead of display flex, that day I have already shown you that we have display block. Display block means it will become block level element, and it will be placed one after the other. Okay, this I have done. And for the card, I don't need anything. I don't want to change anything. But do I have any width? No, no widths are there. So the moment I apply display block, automatically it will apply width 100% to the card. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, so now at this point, width is more than 720. Let's go to 720. Yeah, now we are less than 720. So it is having the display flex. And if we go to less than 320, what will happen? See, yeah. So the moment I go to less than 320, automatically it has again applied the display block to the cards, and yeah, it is displaying the cards one after the other. Okay, so this is how we are applying the media queries. Okay, so we can see we have established, we have set up a responsive web design for this web page. So this way you can keep on adding more and more media queries for different devices and achieve this kind of layout. Okay, and this is very important for displaying web pages for different devices. Okay, I hope this is clear. So in the next workshop, we will go through some more advanced media query properties, media query parameters. Like we have this max width, we can even have a min width. And one more thing, most importantly, here we have a problem with media queries. When we use this max width property, what happens is styles in CSS gets applied one after the other. That means first this style will be applied, then this style will be applied, then this style will be applied. Okay, so we should always write the higher breakpoints at the top. That means it should come in a decreasing order. That means 720 should be here, then 320 is here. If I want to write 150, 150 should be after 320, not before 720. So let's see what happens if I put this before 720. So what will happen? Now we can see the 320 breakpoint. At the 320 breakpoint, whatever styles we had applied, they are not getting applied, because after the 320, 720 is there. So it is overriding the previous styles. So that's why what we need to be careful about this. Whenever we write these media queries, always the maximum value should be at the top. Okay, for max width. Yeah, so that's it for today. We will see some more advanced features in the next workshop. Okay, then Thank you, everyone.